Hello YouTube, it's Big B with BG Model Workshop, and we're starting off real quick with some more shop cards. So we're going to start with Mike Fletcher. Thank you very much for the card, Mike. I appreciate that. And Mike has a little note about what his inspiration is on his trucks that he likes to build. And I think that's a beautiful build, Mike. Thank you very much for sharing that. And then from Mr. Jeff, who's apparently been overrun at his model garage by the ferrets. And I'm not half wondering if Jeff has actually changed this due to tax purposes, you know, so that the ferrets can have the name of the garage. So thanks a lot, Jeff. Appreciate the card. That's really funny. I like that. I actually laughed out loud when I saw the return address and your name was crossed out. Thought that was pretty funny. So N.Y.S. group build. I'm working on that the 51 Henry J, and as you might be able to tell, it's all over the place, all over the bench. No, it didn't blow up. I've just been working on stuff and setting it here and there, getting it out of the way so I don't crush it or step on it or anything. But we'll start with the engine. This is the original engine that came with the kit. And as it turns out, a couple of guys wrote and said that this was actually a 427 Ford, which I appreciate. Thank you very much for letting me know. And I did a little bit more research and found out that because of the way this is, these valve covers are done. Let's get my pointer dude here. You see these little scallops in here at the top? Those are actually for the spark plugs. And that means that this is the single overhead cam 427 engine, and some photographic references that I had found had the front of the engine cover off, and there was just a series of gears all the way along the front here running off of the cam gear. I think it was, yeah, it was a cam gear. So a whole series of gears going across here that looked like somebody had dumped out a spirograph kit in the front of the engine. It was fascinating that they didn't want to run a chain. They had all these gears running and everything. So in honor of the fact that that's kind of a cool way they did that kind of stuff, I wanted to go ahead and keep the engine in there. But I did swap out the air scoop, and then I went with the dual quads because I like that look better than whatever else they had going. I think it might have been like an EFI system. Well, not really an EFI, but some sort of fuel injection system. And it just didn't look very cool. I like the quads better. So I have the engine all stuck together with Elmer's glue just to do mock-ups to see how it's going to fit in the engine compartment, because sometimes the engines for these kits are produced for other kits, and we never know if they're going to actually fit in these more oddball kits. So it does fit. It fits just fine. All the mounting lugs match up, so I'm happy with that. But we'll soak this in some water, pop the glue off, and then do some painting and final assembly for that, and then that'll be ready to go. And then because we're going to have where's my light? Because we're going to have these exposed spark plug areas up here, we're going to go ahead and wire this guy up, and then put a distributor up in the front here. I did want to do a magneto, because I think you could have run a magneto on this type of engine, but I have one on order and it's taking forever to get here. So I'm just going to go ahead. I have a pre-wired carb I can go ahead and use. Pre-wired distributor I can go ahead and use. It shouldn't be much of a pain to put that in. And then possibly some solder headers. You see this large gap down here where the original headers should go. I need my background. There we go. I think I'll put a styrene strip down along the bottom here with some holes punched in it, so I can just put some solder right in and giddy up and go. So I haven't done a lot of cleanup on that yet. I've just tacked it together to see how it's going to fit. So body wise, here's the hood, and this is supposed to be a forward flipping hood, and it's supposed to, you know, flip like that. And it fits together okay, but there are a lot of gaps here and there, especially where the main hood fits the fenders. So I'm going to have to break out some sprue glue. Can you see that? Those gaps in there? I have to break out some sprue glue and fill that stuff in as best I can. And then with the rear end, you may notice that the differential is a little bit cocked, so we need to sort that out a little bit, because that's going to make one wheel ride farther forward than the other wheel. Not to mention the fact that this bit of axle tube right here is actually shorter than this bit of axle tube right here, so I need to trim the axle in order to fit properly. I've done all the measuring I could to figure out what's going on with the rear end here, and then discovered that the axle tube is actually longer on one side than it is on the other. It's in right, but that's how it was made. So we're going to straighten this out a little bit and then see if we can shift it a little bit more. I might end up having to pop everything back off and then re-glue it all. So we'll see how that goes. And then the only real custom thing I've done to the car so far is I've added in some extra bars to the roll bar hoop. I added in this cross piece here so that we could have a place to tie down some seat belts. And then I thought it would be nice to, since I deleted the rear seat out of the interior, I thought it'd be nice to have these angled tubes coming back there, because you can see them through the window clear as day. No problem at all. And then speaking of interiors, let me pop out this door here real quick. Just rip this all apart. So I deleted the rear seat, and originally I had cut out the seat cushion from the seat frame, and I didn't like how that looked. So I went in and did some styrene card and tacked that in. I have to clean up my joints a little bit. I got my side cards tacked in place too. But I've never really done something like this, like make a bulkhead before, so I just kind of made it up as I went along. And I need to shave off my shoulders here a little bit, because I think there is a little bit of a fit issue right now. But yeah, I'm like, dude, if this thing actually had a trunk hatch, which it doesn't, I'd probably open that baby up and put a fuel cell in there. But I got a gas pedal taking place, and I finally got my decals for the front here. And of course, Rambler69, after I made my last video, commented that he uses fingernail art for his. I completely forgot about that. That's a brilliant idea. Probably costs a heck of a lot less than the decal that I have, which I am a little concerned about. Let me just show you this real quick here. That's a very large checker. I don't know if it's going to look, how it's going to look on that firewall. So thanks for that tip, Tom. I appreciate that. And that's going to be the backup plan if that checker doesn't work out right. All right, folks, that's what we got going on. It's been kind of a lazy Thursday for me. I've just been fooling around here at the bench. And thanks for watching all the way in if you made it. And we'll talk to you again later. Bye, guys.